The amazing thing about MC Escher is that he represents the perfect coming together of mathematics and art. These are two different worlds, but in his work they're brought together as one.
Born in the Netherlands in 1898, Moritz Cornelius Escher had no formal training in mathematics. He began his professional life as a graphic artist, making woodcuts and lithographs. As a young man, while visiting the Alhambra in Spain, he became fascinated by the geometric decoration of the Moorish tiles. It would be a defining moment for Escher as an artist. From then on, he would spend much of his life experimenting with an area of mathematics known as tessellation.
Tessellation is about regular patterns that divide the plane. That means that they split the plane up into lots of little tiles, and those tiles fit together perfectly. They don't overlap and they don't leave any gaps. It may seem that the premise of tiling a plane or surface with regular repeating units is a very simple idea, but it's absolutely fundamental to mathematics, and the reason is that it's about symmetry. What Escher does with this rather simple, stark, abstract mathematics is to add a human dimension and a fantastical dimension. He has little animals, little lizards, dragon-like creatures, funny little men, goblins, and things like that. And he uses those for the shapes of his tiles.
MC Escher is known as the father of modern tessellations. He created 137 unique designs and extended tessellations into works of astonishing and puzzling beauty. Today, you're going to be making your own tessellation creature. You get to choose between an elephant, a lizard, a kangaroo, and a fish. I'm going to show you how to tessellate the fish. First, we're going to place your stencil right in the middle of the blank space. I'm going to call this your hero tessellation. This is the one you're going to spend the most time on. You're going to trace around the stencil using either a fine tip marker or a pen or a pencil. And make sure to press down on all those little points so that your marker doesn't go underneath the stencil. And there you go. That's the outside. You can choose if you want to do these little bits of the stencil. I want to use the eye of the stencil, but I'm not going to use the other portions just because I have something in mind for this fish. And there you go. So now we need to put the marker away, or if you're using a pencil, just go ahead and continue using that. And we're going to tessellate all around your hero fish. So let's see which part of the stencil fits with the other. You kind of have to find a shape that repeats. And that right there looks like the bottom fin. So I'm going to click it into place like a puzzle. And then I'm going to press my stencil down and go around it again. And this time I'm actually going to use all of those little bits inside the stencil. And now I'm going to tessellate the fish all over the page until the page is totally full. And once it's done, I can put the stencil aside or let a friend use it. Now, before we get to coloring our project, let's make sure to add your name to your project in nice, big, bold letters near your hero tessellation. You can even add the year onto your piece if you'd like that. And now it's time to design my center hero tessellation. I'm going to make a few extra lines here to help make the fins stand out and to create the body of my fish. Now, your stencil might look totally different than this one, or you might have one of the other creatures, but I'm just showing you the process that I went through for this specific fish stencil. And these lines I'm making, I'm going to go over all of these lines with marker so that after I color, they'll still stand out. This is my hero fish, so I want all of its elements to really stand out and be featured. So I'm going to go over these with a fine tip marker so that when I color, the colors won't make these lines fade or disappear. I have an idea for this fish to kind of be a rainbow fish. I like to use a lot of color, so I'm going to make this fish pretty bright. But to balance that, I'm going to use only black and the white of the page for the body. I'm using these contoured lines to give a little bit of a 3D effect of my fish's body. I'm also going to add in some black scales and some black line work on the head. I added in some tiny little teeth, which I might put a little pop of color on as if he's just had a snack. And this is going to be kind of the last detail of this fish. I think my hero stencil is done. I like the way it looks. And now I want to focus on all the other panels that are around my fish. And I'm just going to use really bright pops of color that I used in my hero fish's fins. I'm going to speed this up a bit so that you have more time to work on your project, but I am going to let you see a bit of my process here so that if you have any questions, this might answer them. And you can see it, like I started with cool colors right around the fish and then moved on to some warmer colors. And now I have all of my fish colored in, but I have to figure out what to do with these little empty blank spaces. So to create some flow and balance in my piece, I'm going to go back to those black contour lines so that it mimics a bit of my hero fish and there's some flow to my piece. Kind of ties it all together. And it's also a simple way to really make sure there's no blank spaces and that my square one page is fully filled out. All right, so these are my last few lines that I've got to put in. And there you go. That's my finished tessellation creature. I hope you enjoyed doing your square one project today. I can't wait to see all of your brilliant ideas come to life. There's no right or wrong way to fill in these stencils that you tessellated. So enjoy yourself, use lots of fun patterns and colors, and add a touch of whimsy.